Hi, everybody. I'm Maxine, and this is episode 18 of Happy AF. I'm happy alcohol-free.
And I'm Isabelle. I'm happy as fuck because I'm with you and you make me fucking happy. And also the weather.
You make me happy.
Both
oh my
of them.
God. The weather.
Really?
The weather. It is sunny outside, and I say this all the time because we live in Vermont.
Right.
I think many of us have real seasonal depression.
And I went through it last week thinking, so all the men are going to probably like turn off this part, but I told Brooks I'm going through emotional menopause. I had gone through menopause at 40 years old, as you know, because my uterus walked away from me. It was like, you're not using me and you kind of like, you're waging a war against me. I was throwing every contraceptive I could fucking put my hands on. So it quit. But last week I was just like morbid and why are we on this planet for? Why is life worth living when we live here only 100 years? Like, it's so short. What's the point? I'm finally at 54 at a place where I can breathe a little bit and not worry so much, but I'm going to be dead in 40 years. So why am I even here? And like all this really crazy shit. And I told Brooks.
So morbid.
I told Brooks, I think it's emotional menopause. And I think you're right. It had been very gray.
Gray.
And the difference is without booze, normally I would have had those feelings, but I would have reached out for booze and I would have drank and numbed myself through it. So you're just pushing it away, waking up with hangovers. And this time I just had to
What?
put my
Feel
pants
it.
on and
Put your big
deal
girl.
with it.
Put your big girl pants on.
That's right.
You just made me think of something there that I have. We had a family friend living with us who's from
that's right.
Lyon.
Right.
This wonderful young French boy called Maxime.
Mm-hmm.
Very confusing in our house with Maxine
Right.
and Maxime, and but we were talking about weather the other day, and my mediocre French, but we were describing it as being gray, and he said, "Oh, en français we say le temps à la Londres." Like it's weather
for
like
real?
London.
I've never heard that. And by the way, he said that we speak funny. Well, tell him I struggle to understand him too. With a little fucked up accent.
his
fucking-
French.
His French.
What is he thinking?
And by the way, what do you mean? We call it gray. It's not London weather, although a little bit is.
But it's so true. It's so true.
But it's finally sunny, so my emotional menopause has left.
It's sunny, and we're so happy that it's
Yes.
sunny, and it's going to be 4th of July. Speaking of drinking, because we're going to talk about drinking and not drinking and
Yes.
4th of July and all the things that go with summer.
Summer.
People loved, by the way, our last episode, which is called Summer Switch, about that switch to summer. People really enjoyed it. We've had a number of people already comment on how great it is for us to not interrupt each other.
I know. It's so hard.
Look at us grow, though.
So like good girl is so fucking hard. Now, if we were drinking, blah, 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 it'd be just a big jello. But it is like you and I are so funny. We're looking at each other like deer cutting head. Like, are you done? Are you done? Can I go? No, but
we have little hand symbols now.
Yeah,
It's
we
like,
do. Very Queen of England. Ta-ta. Ta-ta. But by the way, I'm still in the summer switch because it is early summer.
Yes.
And I have so much more to talk about that.
We have so much more to talk
Oh my
about.
God,
it.
that's so
Oh my God,
podcast.
let's do a
You're doing the
unboxing
nails
with me. I'm doing that. Oh, what's it called? MS.
Is there a name?
There's a name for it.
I saw a guy on the internet.
It's not.
There's
I'm thinking of all letters that go together now that are not right.
But listen, there's a guy on the internet that does
ASMR.
Is that what that is?
ASMR.
So there's a guy on the internet that makes a parody of that. He taped actually nails on his fingers, like real nails for like hammering. And he goes click, 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 click on the boxes.
It became a thing. Like that happened when the TikTok COVID explosion.
hysterical.
When I see it, it makes me angry. When I see people going,
I like it. Does. It is comforting. I don't have nails because
I find
eat
it
them.
super irritating.
But it's probably because I don't have nails. I eat my nails.
Anyway, we're going to
Go for it.
Unbox with me. So one
of it, I like it.
Oh my God, the whole episode's just going to be us going.
There's something tingly about it.
So,
Open it up.
Well, the one of the benefits of our podcast growing and our listenership growing quite exponentially at the
Oh.
moment is that people are sending us stuff. We love being sent
Uh,
things.
they're
And
sending you stuff. I'm not getting shit.
it's for us. It just
Oh,
comes to my
all right.
house. Anyway, this is a box from the wonderful company, which I've
Yummo.
talked about before because I love them.
Okay.
Blind Tiger is the name
Fun.
of the company. Rebecca is the CEO, one of my favorite names because it's my daughter's name. And look at this beautiful packaging.
Ooh.
These are all the different
Oh, there's a lot of
a little
flavors.
note from us. She says anything you want. So all of these flavors, you look at those. I'm gonna look at these.
Okay.
So this is the variety pack. Bee's knees, a mojito type drink, a
So
mimosa,
I have a
and a
question.
lavender French 75. I already know I'm gonna try that one.
Bee's knees is lemony, right? Is it?
Oh, here it goes. Bee's knees, pure honey and bright lemon flavor with juniper undertones.
Yum.
Then the lavender French 75 is bright and bubbly with notes of lavender, lemon, and juniper. And Southside Mojito, sparkling mint and lime blend with hints of juniper. And Sidecar Mimosa, that's the one I tasted before, which I
Oh.
really loved. So I'm going to try the French 75.
And-
And then you have other ones there.
Yes. So the ones I have is the classic Manhattan, which obviously is vermouth and cherry bitter and grapefruit fizz. Now,
Ooh, which one of those do you
remember-
like?
I might have to go for that mimosa.
Yes.
Remember, unlike you, I don't like just the
I know
can.
you
I
don't,
like
but
to
these were
beef
great.
it up with
Beef it up with something else.
NA
With it, yes, Andrew
tequila
loves to do that too.
or a NA mimosa
So pretty.
NA gin. And I'll be honest with you, A, for the taste of the NA liquor,
Yes.
and B, for the mouth feel. A lot of these NA liquor, they add capsaicin.
Yes,
The
yes.
thing that make peppers spicy. So it gives you that alcohol burn. So they makes you sip your cocktail like a real cocktail.
Versus drink it down.
Versus drinking
like
down.
you're
Yes.
hydrating.
So for me, that's a big deal.
Okay, well, look at our lovely glasses.
Their cans are
Oh,
really
our
cute.
ice cube has melted.
Oh yeah, I hate that. So I was saying earlier, so we've had these cups with ice cubes. The difference between someone who has children and someone who doesn't. I go, there's water in mine. I'm gonna go empty it. Where's the tap or where's the sink? And Maxine was like, what do you mean? And she just chugged it, right? So, I'm like, ew, but I will chug the ice water.
It's just ice water. All right, look how pretty this is.
It's very Great Gatsby.
It's very Great Gatsby. It's very I also love the size of these.
Yes.
Oh, look, it's pink.
The
Okay, I'm
size
very
of
happy
these is
about this.
great.
If we were not sitting in the recording studio, I would be putting a little sprig of fresh lavender from
Oh,
my
you
garden.
have to doctor it up. Okay, everybody, this is a big deal. Like Mama Isabelle here has a thing to say about that. Not because it's NA that you go naked. You gotta dress it up.
Oh, yes.
I will not have a cocktail without all the garden on top of
Love,
it.
love. I'm
And
sorry. Look, guess what we do have
The
though?
liquor,
Look at these.
the beautiful glasses.
So these are our local, are they? What does it say under there?
Oh
No,
boy!
these are
By the way-
these are Simon Pierce, right?
Wow. Okay.
Yes. These are Simon Pierce
wow,
glasses, which I
fancy.
love, which is
Okay. I want to say something about that sidecar mimosa. It took me for a curve.
okay,
I
I'm
was
sorry, that's
gonna-
beautiful.
I was gonna like kind of poo-poo that it doesn't have the NA like liquor in it and
Yes.
blah blah blah. But I still would add it, but it almost doesn't need it.
Oh, good. Mine doesn't need anything.
It got that kick.
So, and again, can I just go back to asking all of the restaurants to carry more of these things?
I'm so impressed.
Yes.
It's got that kick. Holy
Cheers.
shit, Blind Tiger.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you. Cheers, Blind
Really
Tiger.
good.
We love you.
Imagine like I'm getting a kick and it's naked. Imagine if you add a splash of NA tequila or NA vodka
Love it.
and then you put a bunch of little garnishes on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
We
This
have to
is
do a
good.
whole like craft cocktail making. Speaking of, you weren't able to come to our team dinner last week,
No.
but we went to my favorite local restaurant, one of my absolute favorite restaurants anywhere, actually, called Mystico
It's so good.
in Manchester, Vermont. If you are here, you've got to go there. They just doubled their NA cocktail list.
Wait, did they have any NA wine yet? No, not yet.
No, but
Okay.
they're going there next.
Great.
They're going there next, but they
Great.
doubled it.
That's
And
great.
here's the thing that I had never seen any restaurant do before. They had mocktails and then they had a 0 proof. So the mocktails have no
Fake
fake
thing
alcohol in
for
it.
people who get
So people who
triggers.
do not want, so thoughtful.
Yes.
Debbie and Luis, amazing
Wow,
owners
that's
of that
very
restaurant.
thoughtful.
So that have like lavender and all of these different, lovely flavor profiles, but zero
Nothing
anything
mimicking
that is mimicking alcohol.
alcohol.
Then they had the 0 proof cocktail menu,
Also, they did have 0
which
proof stuff.
has different brands of, gin alternatives,
Oh.
rum alternatives, all of these things. It's unbelievable.
Okay, because so I'm glad you're saying that, because the first time, not the few first times I went there, they only had the mocktails that doesn't have any mimicking.
Yes,
And
now
I
they have
don't
this
like
new-
that.
Nope.
I don't get triggered by the taste of fake alcohol. It makes me happy. It makes me feel like I'm still
Yep.
I like that burn.
Yeah.
So now they have the burning mocktail.
Yes.
Oh,
Well,
that
I
is
mean,
cool.
Burning
I thought
doesn't sound like a selling point.
It
but,
doesn't. It sells me.
Yeah.
But I'm
Actually,
weird.
it's funny. I was out for dinner with a friend last night, and this has happened a couple of times to me in the last year or two, where I've ordered a non-alcoholic drink and they brought me an alcoholic drink
You're kidding.
by mistake.
Hmm.
So last night, we think it was just a table mix-up, that they brought the wrong drinks to the wrong table versus mishearing me. But last night I ordered the non-alcoholic rosé, and she brought me an actual rosé, but you can't tell, right? So it was in
When
the
you
glass.
sniff it, you
and
can't.
I looked at it, and it looked at like a different color, and I was like,
Huh.
And then we were both not drinking, neither one of us, and not drinking alcohol.
Right.
And I tasted it, and I was like, oh, holy shit, that is alcoholic.
Or it's really, really close.
Because
I'm
because
joking.
the hot burn on my
Burn.
throat now
So
is
bad.
like one sip of that alcoholic rosé was like
Right.
I had just done a shot of scotch. That's what it felt like in my throat.
Funny you'd say that, because I've talked about this, that I had tried to moderate for years
Yes,
before.
yes.
That's why I finally quit. There's
Yeah.
no point. And by the way, it's interesting, because I don't know about everybody listening, but for me, when I was trying to moderate, it's not something you publicize.
Yeah.
Because then people will be like, okay, you do have a problem.
Yes,
So
yes.
the problem with not having publicized this is now people are like, well, I'm sure you could just have one, because they don't know how much I battled that, right? But anywho, my point is, twice I quit for 3 months in my whole life. And when I would start again, the first couple of sips were like you are describing.
Where it's
Problem
like-
is, after 2 sips, I'm like, oh, my brain lit up
Right.
again. But you're right. Your body's like, whoa.
Yes.
Ew. Yeah.
Yes. So, but I have to tell you the funny story about the other time that happened to me
Right.
in a local restaurant.
Uh-huh.
That actually it was a new restaurant. The restaurant had just opened, but I know the bartender really well.
Okay.
For many years, she has made lots and lots of cocktails for me, right? And
Classic cocktails. with
classic
booze.
cocktails.
Yeah.
I mean, I love a real French 75. I love a pear martini. Was one of my absolute favorite flavor profiles. Anyway, the server asked what I was drinking, and I saw the bartender was working, and I said, "Oh, can you just tell Lexi to make me something delicious, non-alcoholic?"
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if I said the words non-alcoholic, or I said NA, or I said an
Right.
alcohol-free, and I said a martini of some kind would be delicious. So she brings it over to me, and same thing. I taste it, and I'm like, oh my God. I was like, that burnt my throat. And I was like, is that a mocktail or is that an actual martini?
Right.
And so when the waitress came back, I said, so this has no alcohol in it, right? And
Right.
she went, no, that's pure alcohol. I was
It's an actual martini. Yeah.
But she had misinterpreted what I said. And then she came back with a fake martini, and she was like, yeah, so sorry. I didn't
It was a
realize
mistake."
it was a
Right.
mistake. But they were so not attuned to hearing me specifically
Right.
ask for something
So did you
without alcohol.
think like the one with the alcohol, besides the burn, was your body like, oh my God, I recognize this. This is good?
No. So
Or your
trick
brain?
question.
Yes.
My not a trick question. A complicated answer.
Uh-huh.
Because I took a sip of it and I
Uh-huh.
felt the burn.
Got it.
And then I was like, ooh, that can't be that this can't be a mocktail.
Uh-huh.
And then I don't know who was with me, and I asked her to taste mine because she was having an actual martini.
Mm-hmm.
And oh yes, and my friend tasted it and she was like, "Oh, that really tastes like alcohol to me." So then I took another sip of it and
Mm-hmm.
then I was like, "Oh, confirmed. It's alcohol."
Right.
So then we swapped it out. And then I would say about 10 or 15 minutes later, I definitely felt tingly.
Right. And did your body want more?
No.
My body would have wanted more. I wouldn't have done it,
I mean, I
but I'm
don't
saying
know
my
if
body
my
would want
body
more.
wanted more. Versus the recognizing the feeling,
Right.
right? I recognized that, like, ooh, the beginning of
A numb.
gosh, we have so much to talk about,
Okay,
and it's
okay.
like, no,
Right.
but now
But
I
a
want to talk
beginning of
about
a numb.
that article you sent me.
Mm. So that was so interesting. So I was on Instagram, and it was the worst timing for me because I was in the midst last week of my emotional menopause, which turned out to be seasonal
Yes,
affective
because it was
disorder.
London weather.
Right. And also the worst timing, and I know this is not apropos today, and cut me off if I go too long, but I've been experiencing, I'm not quite 2 years, but almost, and I'm never going to drink again. I hate saying it. When I say it, it makes me feel weird.
Yes.
But there's not a part, there's not an open door, right?
Yeah.
There's not an
You've
open
closed the
door. The
door.
door's
Yeah.
closed.
Yeah.
But I don't like saying it. It's a weird thing. But my point is, I've been feeling that the further away I am from my quitting date, and the more my resolves questioned, in the sense that you forget why you quit. So the first year, I never questioned why I quit. I never questioned, maybe I should have one. I
Yes,
never questioned,
yes.
am I exaggerating? But now that it's almost 2 years, like the bad things and the reasons have fade away, and you're often left with the romantic parts of alcohol, right? And I've lived through that with cigarettes. It was more difficult the second year than it was the first 6 months because of that. Well, maybe I should smoke on weekends, right?
Yes.
So, so that part of it, like, it is like where I'd be like, I guess it is social. I guess I'm not social, right? Like, and
Yes.
that fades. And
See-
then you remind yourself, but I'm saying you have these reactions. So just as I'm in the midst of that weird week
Mhm.
where, well, I guess I am not social. And I guess there are positive to drinking, conviviality. They say it's good for humankind, blah, blah,
Blah,
blah,
blah, blah.
right? There's this thing on Instagram where this professor, and I don't know what kind of professor he is, not doubting it, but he's some
Yes,
sort of a
yes.
professor. And he was explaining about the effect. There's a man at Microsoft, I forget his name.
No, Google.
Was it Google?
It was Google.
Okay, so I met at Google, some big CEO at Google. Let's say his name was Mr. Miller, can't remember. And they talked about the Miller effect.
Yes.
Whereas Mr. Miller, when he would brainstorm with his executive team and they would be hitting a stone wall,
Yep.
he had a whiskey bar within
Yes.
the office, and they would go to the whiskey bar and have a cocktail because they found that in low levels of alcohol, you open up your brain, such as like when you're a kid, where both sides communicate better.
And
right?
you're in play mode.
You're in play mode. And Mr. Miller, apparently not his real name, had found that that's the Miller effect. He had found that the guy didn't remember exactly what the amount of alcohol in his blood was, but let's say it was 0.68. It was very specific.
No, it was 0.0 something.
But he used that as an
Yeah.
example. He
Yes.
wasn't sure, but there was a very specific low amount of alcohol in his blood that he found that was the key to his creativity. And
Yeah.
he actually had a drip
Yes.
to make sure that he would stay at that
Yes.
level of alcohol. So that was this. So this guy was like, so it can open up creativity at a low level, blah, blah, blah. And so when I heard that, your first thing is like, there you go. There goes my fucking creativity. And then obviously the
Yes.
next 2 minutes, I'm like, well, if I could just stay at 0.035, that'd be great, which never, ever has ever happened.
Nor can that happen
Nor
for
can
most
that happen,
people.
And number two, I remember thinking, I wonder if they had found the same thing about heroin.
Correct.
Or cocaine.
But it's true.
It would have come with a huge disclaimer. By the way, in low level, heroin can open, but you need to be under therapeutic guidance. It's highly addictive. There would have been all this shit.
Yes.
Whereas like with the alcohol, it's like, well, so we opened the bar without any therapist or clinicians there, and you just have a couple of cocktails, right? There was all the disclaimers and the dangers of
Yeah.
alcohol were thrown to the wind. So after but the first reaction is like, oh, there we go. I killed my creativity. And then,
Yes.
you
Are you kidding me? As
you
someone
land
who
and you
works,
realize how ridiculous this
and
is.
somebody who is an artist. Like, it's my job. It's what I do.
Right.
And so I hear that all the time. And that allure of going into the recording studio and
Right.
getting drunk and high to get all of your best ideas out. And that's fake. That's false,
Right.
right? What is true, and what this guy was talking about, is there is that moment,
Very
that
low
that's
level.
small tiny window where you start to let your defenses down. You start to let the juices flow like you did when you were a kid and you didn't give a fuck what other people
Sure.
thought. That we can get there, and alcohol helps us get there. The problem is, it's such a narrow window. As soon as you pass it,
You're out. You're
and you've
slushy.
negated all
All
of
the
the
good
good.
stuff.
Not only have you negated the good, then you have to deal with the aftermath of all of what comes with the consumption
Like
of
an
alcohol.
addiction. And the thing, it made me think also of, I forget the name of the drug. Everybody else knows it. I'm just a silly. I'm not very connected, and I don't watch a lot of TV and stuff, but you know what? I think it's with LSD, or what's the scientific name, where they found that under therapeutic guidance, it can cure PTSD, it can cure depression, but it's like a very low dose, and you have a doctor and a therapist, and there's a whole protocol, and they guide you. So I felt as though probably with alcohol, to hit into your creativity would have to be like that. But because it's alcohol, they're throwing caution to the
Yes.
wind,
Yes.
right? So, you know, there's still that whole, like, they're trying, I feel they're grabbing at whatever positive they can about alcohol to
Yes.
not
But
vilify it.
without the whole picture, and the whole
Right.
idea behind that argument of this Google whiskey room, for the creatives, it was to unblock their stress and their tension. It's like any kind of addiction. How about you address the source of the problem?
That's right. There's other
Right?
ways to get there.
Why is everybody so uptight as a species?
That's
right?
right.
I think you know this. I'm the chair of the board of an elementary school, a very small elementary school that is so unique. It's forward thinking, progressive, outdoor, experiential learning. The kids are in the woods every day. We just heard their graduation speeches where all of these children talked about how they love to play in the woods, and they don't call it school because they're playing in the woods,
Right.
but they're out there measuring and understanding uh, ecology,
Right.
and everything, and they're doing it under the guise of play, which, you know, detractors of that method of education say, well, they're not learning anything. It's
There
like,
are.
meanwhile, they're all incredibly intelligent
Yes.
and high achieving academic students when
Yep.
they go on, but they've learned that ability to do, so we lose it as human beings.
Absolutely. I'll never forget. So when I was a kid, I picked up by my own oil painting. I was like 6 years old, and I was painting, I mean, really. Then my mom sent me to a neighbor who was an artist, and she taught me more, but really complicated, gorgeous paintings. Actually, I remember there was a teacher in school, grade 4 teacher, who was very different from everybody. She was very artsy and took a liking to me. And she was like, "You're going to be a great artist." But guess what? I let it go, and then I became an adult, and I can't draw the way I used to. Cannot. And I've seen some of these oil painting I made, and I was like, how the fuck did I do that
Right.
at 7, 8 years old?
Right.
I used to play much better piano
Yes,
at
you've
that
talked
young
about this.
age than I did in my drinking years. So you're right. There's a way to tap into that creativity that has nothing to do with alcohol. And as we've talked about before, my jazz pianist teacher always said, he's like, "Isabelle, I've seen some guys play gorgeous jazz strung out on heroin. Don't recommend it because that came with a lot of different things." But he's like, "I've never seen the best jazz player drunk play well. They play
No.
sloshy.
Sloppy,
It's
sloppy,
really sloppy.
Yeah,
It's not,
no.
you know, you think." And I've taped myself playing piano when I was still playing jazz, a little drunk, and that's one of the things. I remember when I rekindled playing piano. I played for 20 years, quit for 10, got back into it for 15. And I remember telling my mom I'll finally drink less because I have to practice.
Right.
No, I was just practicing with a fucking glass of wine on the piano. And I had to take myself or the teacher anyway, whatever, to make exercise. And after a glass or two, I thought I sounded great. But when I was listening to the
No,
next day,
no.
it was sloppy.
So I think I've mentioned this before too. As a singer, um, you 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 can't sing well drunk.
I can't imagine.
I mean, aside from, forgetting the lyrics,
Doesn't it dehydrate
it's
your
completely, and it
throat?
constricts your vocal cords. It makes everything tight. It's like absolutely no, no. So from a working standpoint, I would never, ever drink before a show. In fact, for days before a big
Right.
performance, I wouldn't drink alcohol. But there would be moments where in, actually almost exclusively in a karaoke setting
Right.
where it's not work, right? It's
No, right.
fun, but I've been out and someone's like, "Oh, please sing. You'd be such a ringer. Like, get up and sing it," and could sing something, and I would be drunk.
Right.
And then if someone videoed me and I would see myself singing the next
What'd you
day,
think? It was not like the way you can sing, right?
oh my God. Oh, I'm so pitchy. I'm so, oh God, so terrible.
Well, it's
So,
like the knitting. Remember, I said that I've
and the
been
dropping
knitting,
this.
and then the next day I look and everything's crooked. I have to frog the whole fucking thing.
No, and it's exactly right. I understand what this topic was about freeing your brain to be creative, but we have to do it in a way that
Less
goes to the root
dangerous.
of the issue
Yes.
versus putting a band-aid on it. I had told you the story about me too, writing lyrics at night
Right.
and thinking, oh my God, I'm drunk on an airplane. I'm like, I've just written the most amazing song. And then I would find those notes like a week later and I'm like, what
This
is
it's
that?
I feel as though it's the only substance I can think of that when you decide to quit it, because there's a lot of reason one would want to quit it. Not society, because that sounds like we're victims, but somebody, loads of people are trying to convince you that it was a bad idea to quit it. I don't see that on social media. That's a bad idea to quit coke, bad
Nope.
idea to quit heroin, bad idea even to quit weed. They don't say quit weed. They don't say it's about, if someone
Yeah,
quits
yeah.
weed, they're like, that's great. Same with cigarettes. That's great. But if you quit alcohol, a lot of people are going to congratulate you, but there's still a huge marketing machine. They're like,
Huge.
are you sure?
There's also all the people, and it's true, there has to be a counter argument for
Right.
everything. So
Correct.
now that the alcohol-free voice is being amplified,
Mhm.
now that all of these companies are creating these alternatives, there has to be a backlash, right?
Right.
Because as we've said a million times, we're going against societal norms by making this choice. So there has to be people who are
Mhm.
going to stand up and say, "Oh, for fuck's sake, shut up. What's the harm in a glass of wine?" And it's like, well, it depends.
Right.
There's a very big gray area about whether or not a glass of wine is fine. And if a glass of wine is fine for you, then have your glass of wine.
Right.
We're not telling you not to have it.
No.
But there are many people who cannot have one glass of wine. And then there are many people who now know that it was a lie that one glass of wine is good for you.
Thank you. So I was just exactly
lie.
going to say that. So have your bloody glass of wine, absolutely, but don't dilute yourself in thinking that
Yes.
it is good for you.
Yeah.
Because that's just a fucking lie.
Yes.
Same as they used to tell women that were pregnant to smoke cigarettes before they were gonna deliver, because it would make for an easier delivery. It wasn't true.
Yes.
Okay, so that's
Yes.
exactly what we're
And
saying.
that's the thing. We're at that place now where we have the information
Mhm.
that my parents didn't have. Like
Mhm.
that generation before us didn't have the
Right.
information that we have. And one of the clips from one of our previous podcasts that was the most controversial, or the one that was certainly the most viewed, was when I said someone had come at me saying, "Oh, for fuck's sake,
Right.
my whiskey at the end of the day is part of the ritual, and if it's going to cost me a couple of years at the end of my life in my 90s, then that's the price I'm willing to pay."
Mhm.
And I said, bingo, you've nailed it. You are willing to pay the price. I am
And
not.
but
I'm not willing to give up one single day of my life
and not only
for
that,
wine.
is that the price? Are you sure that's really the
Well,
price?
you're rolling the
Is it really
dice.
the price? And I
Correct.
remember when I quit smoking cigarettes, you know, quitting smoking cigarettes was traumatic for me. It was really, really hard. And actually, you know, I just discovered Brené Brown. Okay, I'm a loser. I know I'm not plugged in. I'm like
Yes.
a 95-year-old grandmother in a 54-year-old
Excuse me,
body.
darling. I would like you to know that that is not a bad thing.
Okay.
Not being plugged
So
in.
I just realized who she is. So I listened to a few podcasts and I didn't know she quit drinking 30 years ago.
Yes.
And she said she quits. She was an avid smoker like me, and she still thinks about it every day. Now, I don't think about it every day, and I was a 2-pack a day. But I forget what I was going to say about that. What am I talking about, Brittany Brown and smoking?
About, oh God, I love us. And we're not drunk. Cheers. Have another mocktail, my friend.
Anyway,
I don't know the number of times when
like I was like, I went, my mind just like, you know. Anywho, so then we'll talk about where we're supposed to be.
No. So now I have another segue.
Summer.
And now I have another,
What?
before we get to summer, before we get to 4th of July, is one of the things our amazing video editor, Andrew W, because we've got Andrew Koss, who's our sound editor, and Andrew K. We're a teeny tiny but mighty team. Anyway, Andrew Walker had just said this morning when we were setting up, he said, I love what, and he's got the most lovely Southern drawl, right? Because he's from
South Carolina.
South Carolina. And he's like, I love what y'all, I can't do it. I can't do a Southern accent, but I love what y'all are doing here because you're even speaking to me. And he doesn't drink by choice.
Right.
He doesn't drink by choice. And I love what he said about it. He was like, not because I ever had a problem, but because I got shit to do.
Right.
That's what he said. He was like, I
That's
got
true.
shit to do and I don't like how it makes me feel.
Right.
And when people ask me often, like, what's your favorite side effect? What's the favorite result that you have seen different in your life from not drinking in the last couple of years? And my answer is the rise in my productivity is astronomical. It is astronomical. And I wasn't a slouch before, but I have more energy. I have more focus. I have more.
That is true.
I mean, that's it. But okay. Let's get to what we're going to talk about. What were we going to talk about? Why are we here? No, we're talking about 4th of July. It's about to be 4th of July.
For me, that's like
Yes.
being a Canadian American now, and our Canada Day is July 1st, and French Canadians really don't care about Canada Day. It's just a fucking day off.
Oh, okay.
We have our own saint,
well, obviously,
patron saint
Ireland
day.
cares very much about St. Patrick's Day, as
So,
to the whole world.
but
you know what? It's controversial, but saying it anyway, because we are a podcast that is totally honest. We're not owned by anybody.
okay, what is it she's gonna say?
Is that I'm not
Unlock
feeling.
the door.
I'm
out.
not. I'm not feeling very patriotic right now. As somebody who, well, first of all, I'm not American, right? I'm
Of course
Irish.
you are.
What?
Aren't you? Don't you have an American citizenship?
I do, but doesn't make me American. I'm
No,
Irish. I
it
will
makes
never
me
not.
American. I've been here 30 years. I'm Canadian American.
Come on. If
I'm
somebody
both.
walked up to you in the street, you would not say, hey, I'm American.
I
No,
say
you
I'm a
wouldn't.
mutt. I'm a mutt.
You wouldn't say you were Canadian.
I say I'm French Canadian.
Exactly. So thank you for
But
proving
I'm
my
also
point.
a little bit American.
Look, I adore America. I grew up my entire life. After being here for the first time at 12 years old, I made the commitment to myself. I was like, I'm going to live there someday because I loved the idea of America as one of my favorite musicians of all time and great lyricist and humanitarian. I'd like to call him my friend, Bono. He said the idea of America is one of the greatest ideas
absolutely.
humanity has ever had.
Yes.
The idea of give me, you're poor, you're tired, you're hungry. Be this a place of refuge. Be this the place that you can be whatever the fuck you want to be. The Irish girl that wanted to break out of the norm and of the parochial little setup that perhaps I was expected to live within. America was this big, beautiful dream place that I was going to go to when I grew up to be an actress, to be a singer, you know, before I went to law school. But that ideology appealed to me so much. And now, after this second time of this administration, it's being ruined for me. It's
So
being ruined
hold
for
on,
me.
the ideology is still there. Unfortunately, the country has decided to take a break from it, but the ideology is still
No,
there.
it is.
And I think July 4th doesn't celebrate the administration. It
Mm-mm.
doesn't, it celebrates that
Correct.
ideology.
Correct. And so while I
And
don't want to wear like I never would
and
have
by the way,
wore stars and stripes,
I'd
but
like to say, so I am not a fan of this administration either, but a lot of our fellow citizens feel the same way we do. Even people that might have voted for this administration are starting to be like, wait a
oh,
minute,
no
that's not
question.
what America is about. And I celebrate all these people that still believe in the dream,
Yes.
that still believe that we're a nation of
100%.
immigrants, and still believe that you can make it here. And I think this administration doesn't get it, and they're going to be gone soon. So I still celebrate Americans for what their image and what
Yes.
they are.
Yeah.
And keep in mind that a lot of people were sold a bill of good that is not true. So when they voted for a way or another,
Yeah.
they thought they were voting one
Yeah.
way, and
Yeah.
are they like that?
Well, I mean, it
So
remains to be seen, and I gosh darn love your optimism
I'm very
about
optimistic.
it. You are, and so am I. You know this about me. In fact, I
Right.
get mocked for being too optimistic
Right.
about things and not being realistic enough. But I'm like, I would much rather be the optimist
Mhm.
than a pessimist. And you know, the fact that said president's name will not go on the Kennedy Center is
Right.
one of those things for me as an artist who has spoken to people at length in recent years
Mhm.
about the Kennedy Center and the importance of that cultural institution not being politicized.
Right.
And that his name's got to come down. That gave me joy
Right.
and gave me hope again. But I decided to wear my Red Sox cap today because when I moved to America, I knew nothing about baseball. I knew that I had to be a Red Sox fan because of my ancestry. So
Irish, right.
all of my relatives on my mother's side who moved to America, generations before me were all Red Sox fans. So when we went
Boston.
as children,
Yeah.
we
Yes.
went to Boston and they gave us all this stuff. And I lived for many years in New York City.
That's
as a
why I'm
Red Sox fan,
shocked.
it
Like,
was not fun.
I can't imagine. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you will be discriminated against.
Oh, very, very much so. Very much so. But I wear this with pride. And it's a symbol to me of America, right?
Right.
Baseball and a baseball game. And when I have sung the American national anthem at Fenway or at Citi Field or any of these places, I consider that one of the greatest moments of my performance career, to
Yes.
be able to sing about the land of the free
Mhm,
and the
mhm.
home of the brave while wearing my American baseball cap and feeling the power of the ideology behind America. So
Yeah.
it is there, and I don't want to get like
And by the way, I want to remind you, I want you to not lose your hope. I want to remind you, we're a young country.
Yes.
Canada is a young country. America is a young country.
Yes.
An old continent. There was people before us. I get
Yep,
it. But, you know,
yep.
I think you all know where I'm going with that. All the countries that were much older than ours, like in Europe, I've all gone through their trial and tribulations
Yes.
with
Yes,
kings
many,
and
many,
stuff.
many,
So
many
we're
times.
going through our own trial and tribulation,
I
and we
mean-
will go on the other side of it.
Don't get me started on colonization.
You know what I'm saying?
800 years of
Right. So,
raping
you
and
know,
pillaging in my country.
it's one of those, we're getting our bump,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So,
No, absolutely.
and
but,
we're going to strive through it.
So 4th of July.
Yes.
Here's the reason we're talking about it. And boy, do we know how to get off track. It's so funny when we were having our team meeting last week and everyone was like, well, and then there's the roadmap. And Isabelle is like, yes, then there's the roadmap. And then we go,
Yeah, that's right.
let's talk about something completely different. But here's some interesting statistics about the 4th of July, which I did know this. Did you know that it's the biggest drinking day in America?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. You did know that. I wasn't sure. If somebody had asked me to guess, I would have said different other possible ones. But here's the thing that's really freaking scary about 4th of July is the ER rooms, the emergency
Right.
rooms, are busier than any other weekend
Huh.
of the year.
Because people do
So-
stupid shit while they're drinking.
Yeah. So the downside of the social lubricant argument is The National Safety Council reports that during the Independence Day period, 38% of all traffic fatalities uh, involve an alcohol impaired driver. And 4th and 5th of July have the highest injury-related ER visits of any other day in the US. More than 45,000 people visit emergency rooms on those days.
By the way, I can't remember if I mentioned this on this podcast or not, but doesn't matter. Norway took care of that.
Oh, you did. We did.
They're-
We
oh,
talked about
man.
that.
Like,
Yeah,
we
where
should do
you're
the
not
same.
allowed to drive.
And even when I was drinking, I used to think we should be stricter about
Yes.
because I
Yes.
was this hypocrite. I was such a fucking hypocrite because I never drank. I mean, very seldom drank and drove. If I did, it would have been for 3 miles and I wasn't slushed, right? I would
Right.
be above the limit, but not like, so I would always be like, I'm not driving, right? Like I would always announce, so who do you think would drive? Fucking Brooks, who was probably just as slush as I was. Do you know how many times we're both like, it's like we have 2
White
pairs of
knuckling.
eyes and
Yeah.
he's going really slow. And what an asshole. I'm making him drive so that I'm not drinking and driving, right?
You're like,
And
if anyone's getting caught, it's not me.
right, that's it. And I'm the one going like, oh, let's have another one. I'm not driving.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Do you know how many times I've done that? I make other people drive drunk so that I didn't drive drunk, so that I can go around in the world saying,
Which wouldn't matter
I don't drink and
who's
drive.
driving if you
It's a
wrapped
fucking
yourself around a
asshole.
pole.
Right.
But it's not just, that was the crazy thing. It's not just about
No, it's-
driving.
Oh,
Falls and
Of
head
course,
injuries,
yeah.
broken bones, drownings, grill accidents, firework accidents,
I have
and
a funny
alcohol
story.
poisoning. So it's not just getting behind the wheel, it's
No.
all of the possible disastrous things that can happen on that weekend, because that's the weekend that's everyone is saying we got to drink our faces off.
Do you want to know the firework/grilling accident that I've heard of that is so dumb that it's funny and sad at the same time?
Go for it.
So
Involves both grills and
yes,
fireworks.
so I'm at a bar years ago in Truckee, California. We had gone skiing in Lake Tahoe.
Okay.
And Brooks and I are sitting at the bar having a couple of cocktails and eating our dinner. And there's a gentleman that sits next to us. So we start striking conversation. And he happens to be the town's doctor, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, wow, that's got to be the best gig in the universe. Like, you get broken bones. Like, you're not getting like, I'm thinking,
Yes.
I'm romanticizing this place. I'm like, you're not getting the overdose. You're not getting like the gunshots, right? So it's like all fun injuries, ski injuries. He's like, no, you're right. But he's like, sometimes you get the dumbass injury that's pretty bad. I'm like, oh, do tell. So he tells me that this guy, 4th of July, I drank too much, grilling, and he decides that he's going to put out fireworks for his kids. So he lights the firework, but he's holding it in his mouth. And it fucking blew early.
Oh!
He blew his fucking jaw
No!
off.
Oh my gosh! Why did you tell that story?
I think it's sad, but so fucking funny.
How is it funny?
stupid. How
Did he have
fucking
any
drunk and stupid you have to be. Yeah,
Yeah,
he blew his
that's-
fucking jaw off.
Did it?
Even the doctor was like chuggling. He's like, I know I shouldn't chuggle, but he's like, man, have you ever seen? I couldn't believe it. Yeah. So, hey kids, don't do that. So this guy had been drinking and he was grilling. So
Now I need to know though. Did they reconstruct his jaw?
oh,
Was
I don't
he
know.
okay?
I didn't even, but we were like, drinking,
he
so we're
die?
laughing. No, I don't think he died. But he blew
You
his
don't
jaw
think
off.
he did?
No, I don't think he
Oh,
did.
wow.
The guy
Okay.
didn't mention any
Wow,
death.
that's a crazy story.
resulting.
You know what? Actually, I have 2 4th of July injuries, and neither one of them involved alcohol.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's 2 sides to every story.
Yeah.
And I know that people will be like, oh, plenty of people get injured without drinking.
That's true.
Of course, that is true. And actually, 4th of July, Andrew's probably going to be like, oh gosh, I remember both of those. We always have a pool party.
Right.
And the first accident happened maybe like 7 or 8 years ago. The pool party had just started. Many of the friends hadn't arrived yet. And once people arrive, I'm busy getting things ready for cookout and barbecuing and all of that. And I thought, oh, people aren't here yet. Most guests aren't here yet. I'm going to jump in the pool with the kids myself for half
Right.
an hour before it gets too busy. And I took off my cover up. and I wasn't looking where I was going, and I tripped and fell
Ow.
on and landed on an umbrella stand
Ouch.
that didn't have the umbrella in
Ouch,
it.
ouch, ouch,
So
ouch,
you
ouch,
know
ouch.
the cylinder
Oh,
sticking
and
up.
it's really sharp.
Oh yes, not anymore. All of my umbrella stands in this house now have a rubber insert.
Yeah, but this one was
But
sharp.
this one was sharp. So I cut straight into my shin, and I thought, ooh, and I went, wow, and one of my friends was in the pool, and one of my friends was walking down the grass, and I just put my hand on it, and I was
Uh-huh.
like, I've cut myself. And I said, I'm not sure if I need a Band-Aid or I
Or
need to
plastic
go to the
surgery.
hospital. So, and I'm not good with blood
Blood.
or anything like that.
Gory.
So I had to ask my friend as she was walking down, she was like, what are you doing? And she sees the blood
And
pouring
she's
down
like,
my leg. And I was like, I'm going to lift my hand and you're going to tell me Band-Aid or hospital. And I lifted my hand and she went, get thee to a hospital.
oh
She could see
no.
my shin bone. Like I had cut that deeply. Anyway,
Fuck.
went, got stitches, whatever. I have the scar to tell the tale. Not a single drop of alcohol had been consumed.
Wow.
And I was, I think, the first in the ER that day. So, you know, nobody in urgent care, nobody else was there yet. And then the next year, I kid you not, because Andrew was like, I think 4th of July at our house is cursed. The next year, it wasn't me that got injured. It was my darling daughter, where she was swimming and there was like, it was like kid soup in the
Right,
pool. So there
right.
was like so many kids in the pool, and one of my friends was throwing his son in, and they were just having fun, but didn't see Rebecca was hidden underneath a floaty.
Oh
And
no.
the timing of her coming up and the kid going
Oh,
in,
just perfect.
head collision, Rebecca split. It's like, oh my gosh.
Oh.
Now I'm making myself a little bit nauseous from these
But
blood
so I'll
stories.
tell you then my July 4th stories, they were not nauseous and they were heavily alcohol induced and no accidents.
Oh, good.
They came close though. We just
Kind of stepping on our punt
like I
here,
like to
but
say, there's gods for imbeciles, right?
Mm.
We being the imbeciles. So two of the most epic July 4th took place in that little town in France, Banyuls, where my in-laws used to
yes,
live on the
yes.
Mediterranean. So obviously the French people there don't really know about July 4th. My in-laws are the only Americans. So they tell them, hey, it's like the birthday of the United States. It's like your Bastille. So we're going to do a party in a park.
Oh, it's like
You all
Bastille
come.
Day. Yeah.
Right. So we go and they had this old Land Rover, like truck from the 80s, like not fancy. So we have like this big trailer in the back and we pack it. We're going to the town's park and we pack it with all American goodies where we're going to make chicken wings, which is not a small feat to find chicken wings on the
No,
border
in
of Spain.
France.
They don't know what
Nuh-uh.
that is, right? And like burgers.
And there's no way you're finding a hot dog.
Right. No, we scratched that one. That was not going to happen.
Doesn't exist.
And I had brought wigs from the United States because I'm a firm believer you can't have a good party without a bunch of wigs.
Love
and
it.
even the crankiest person ends up with a fucking wing on their head before you know it. So we go to this park, we set up. It's just me, Brooks, my in-laws. One year my sister came and it's like 10 in the morning. We told the French people come around noon, you know, and it's in the park. So there's no loo, right? There's no bathroom. There's no anything. It's a fucking municipal little park in a town of 4,000 people, okay? It's just a green space with a thing to play bull, you know, like
Okay, yeah.
so bocce, I guess. So of course, French people liking a good party, they show up at 11, like an hour early. We closed the park at 1 in the morning. Nobody went to the bathroom. Okay, we drank. Actually, people would leave, go to their house, and come back with vieille prune, which is like 50 proof. It's prunes that have been macerated. Anyways, you can shine your fucking car with it, but we were drinking it, right? So we drank. I mean, I don't even know if I was drunk because I was drunk enough to not even know that I was drunk. Like it was that kind of drunk, right? And then my father-in-law is like, let's go. But my father-in-law can keep it down like a sailor. Him and I kind of like are, and it's 1 in the morning. We've been there since 10 in the morning drinking, right? So we packed the trailer. You should have seen the fucking trailer the next day. It was pretty hysterical the way it's packed. You could tell it was like the blind leading the blind. And then we're going that old Land Rover, like the town, everything's dark. Everybody's asleep. It's a tiny little town. And there's a river that runs through it, you know, like an ocean river, and it's dry that time of the year. So we all thought, my father-in-law is like, fuck the road. I know shortcut. I'm like, oh yeah, where? It's like down the fucking river. I mean, we're like going tack. The trailer almost like jumped over the Land Rover. I mean, we could have gotten killed right there and there, like down the river, up the river. But so that was my July 4th. The most epic celebration of the United States was in France,
Oh,
drinking a lot and
wow.
crossing dry riverbeds.
Well, this 4th of July, I'm working this 4th of July. So we actually stopped having 4th of July parties because we were like, I don't want any more injuries.
Right.
So we have a party on like the 5th or the 6th. Um, and this year I'm working, I'm singing with a symphony.
Right. Oh.
And it's the 250th, right? It's a whole big celebration this year. But I can now think about celebrating 4th of July or any other amazing holiday with lots of different alternatives,
Mm-hmm.
and having that option available. Actually, Andrew Walker was talking about this too. He was like, you guys are just like, we're right at the precipice of this big conversation, and we agree that these drinks becoming more mainstream are allowing people to choose not to without feeling left out.
Right. So because I was telling you, and I don't know if we're running out of time or not, but I was telling you how for me July 4th and summer really triggers parties and travels. And that's where
Yes.
I think about
Yeah.
my alcohol. And one of the things that I've done is try to think of these good times where I was drinking heavily and imagine myself, if I hadn't been drinking, would have it been as fun. And several of them, I'd say 90%, yes, it would have been as fun. There's maybe a 10% you're like, but 90% would have been as fun and maybe better. Like for instance, there's one where this a summer thing. And also, there's a trip in Australia. So I don't know if I have time for both, but I'll start with the trip in Australia because traveling makes me think of summer. That for me, like, that's like, I went to Australia with my sister years ago, and she was there on business. So her boss was there. Her boss was really nice, great guy. And I was meeting her on their last day with her boss, and her and I were going to do a Thelma and Louise, right? We're going to travel. Okay, so great. So I show up, and our boss kindly, generously invites us for a whole day in the vineyards, and then we're going to go to this fancy dinner. So we drink the vineyards. I mean, one of the vineyard called and said, like, this woman needs to go. Like, we're out. She dried, like, we fucking did it. So much so that, and we went to Melbourne and having more cocktails. We're supposed to get ready for dinner, and everybody's like, fuck that. And we're just staying at the beach, and we scrap dinner. We stay in our like jeans and
Yeah.
linens, and we're just gonna party it up, which we did. So we got sauced. So in my being sauced, the next day, my sister and I are leaving for a road trip. Now, this man is so nice, but he's our boss, right? Like, it's still our boss. Now, I'm in a state that, there's a state of drunkenness that you just love everybody so much.
Yes.
Like, you love them. Like,
Yeah.
you need to be my brother. So I'm like, this gentleman, let's say his name is Jim. Jim, wait, you're alone the rest of the week? No, that is not acceptable. Ev is gotta come with us. Jim, nope, you're coming with us on our girl trip. No, I'm not taking no for an answer. And this goes on for a fucking half hour, right? He's like, well, I think you go, no, Jim, buddy, you can't be alone. And my sister's like, I'm fucking kill her. So my sister's like, Isabelle, let's go to the bathroom. So we go to the bathroom. She's like, dude, he's my boss, okay? Like, we can't go on a fucking girl trip with my boss. Come on. So I'm like, fuck. So she's like, you need to scale it back. Obviously, I don't, right? So then we go to the hotel. We wake up the next day. I'm one of those top 5 hangovers is that one. And I look over at my sister and she just looks at me like this, or mascara like down her face. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, it all comes back to me where I begged this guy to travel with us. And I'm like, no, I want to be alone with my sister.
Yeah.
So she's like, dude, you need to fix this. And I'm like, okay. So we go to breakfast. We're having breakfast, and he comes down the staircases. And I'm like, I really need to go to the bathroom. And I took off and I left her. I fucking left her to fix it. She was like, I fucking
Did she
hate
fix
you.
it?
She did. She's like, listen, my sister really likes you, but I really want to be alone. He understood completely.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, listen, I wasn't gonna go, but like, I like not been drinking so heavily. Like, the feeling of like having to take back something that's already in the universe, and
No.
now you're really fucked up.
No.
And now you have to go drive for 4 hours on the wrong side of the road of the worst hangover of your life, that's a whole different podcast. Okay. Like that was a whole different podcast.
Yeah.
But like I remember, so when I was doing my exercise of would the situation have been more fun had I not been drinking, this is one of those that yes, would have been more fun.
It would have been.
It would have been more fun
Yeah.
had
I
I
mean,
not been drinking.
I don't have many. I would have to really think about it. Of because of the taking it too far, it might
Right.
have started out fun. For me, the reverse is true. There are way more situations that could have been really bad because of drinking,
Right.
and I'm just fucking lucky.
That it
I'm
didn't go
just
south.
lucky
Right.
that I didn't die. Like, not kidding.
Yeah.
Do you know, putting
That's
yourself in
true.
stupid
Like the
situations,
subway at 2 in the
dangerous
morning.
situations,
Yeah.
getting in a cab, doing these things, going to a house party, going to,
Yes.
back with some guys that like so
I
many
did.
things. So
Yes.
those for me, anytime I think about would it be more fun with alcohol? I'm like, no, no.
Right.
No,
Right.
I
Right.
don't. And to tie us up for 4th of July, when you think about all of these parties now, you are the queen of being prepared with your alternatives. And that's
Yes.
that's just the way now.
Absolutely.
It's wherever you go. I went to a benefit the other night, and actually at a woman's house, a fundraiser, and she is also both her and her husband do not drink, not because they had addiction
just
issues.
don't.
They just don't drink for health reasons. And they had this amazing selection of de-alcoholized wine, and there's just more and more of it. So, our message to our listeners, again, just in case anybody thinks we're trying to tell them what to do.
Oh God, no.
We are not. We're not self-help gurus. We're not psychiatrists. We're not addiction coaches. We're just telling you how we did it. And for me, like sharing the fact that going out to a party in the summer, like a 4th of July cookout, and bringing your own delicious bottle of alcohol-free champagne, or a little 4-pack of Blind Tiger, I don't even think about the wine or the rosé anymore.
And because I think they mismarketed, and I know we need to go. They're saying that the alcohol is the social glue. It's not the alcohol. It's because it's like eating. You sit, you eat. That's the social glue.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
walking around with something in your hand. You're drinking together.
Yes.
That's the social glue.
Yes.
So if you're drinking NA, whatever, you have actually a better social
Yes.
glue, because you're not gonna say something stupid.
Right.
Like
right.
my friend went over someone else the other day at a cocktail. She's like, "Oh my God, congratulations. The person's not pregnant."
Oh gosh.
Right. She had been at a couple of cocktails in her.
I mean, that's just not smart.
No, but with a couple of cocktails, you're
yeah.
less smart than
You're
without a
not so
couple
smart
of
anymore. No.
cocktails.
Oh my gosh. Trust me.
You
Trust
know what
me.
I mean?
Trust me.
So,
And we're
right.
killing the brain cells with every glass. But yeah, I just love our alternatives. I'm very excited about 4th of July this year, and summer, and all of the things. And keep listening, sending in your questions, because we do love our questions. We love answering them, and we're going to do that in the next episode. And have an amazing 4th of July. Let's go back to this camera. It's like, where am I looking?
And also, like, send us is there a topic you'd like us to talk about? Because I think there's a lot of topics within us that we don't even think of.
Right.
Taken to the surface.
And I love that, because some of those questions that get sent in open up a lot of conversation points.
That's right.
We are so grateful for that you're listening, and keep listening. Keep sending us your questions. Share us with other people. If you see us on social media, follow us. We're happyafpodcast.com, which is our sort of central landing point for everything. And we're growing. Again, we were talking with the Andrews about this before we started filming. Like, we're growing. We jumped into this blind two people who'd never done a podcast before, and here we are. And with every episode, I feel like we're getting a little bit better, and we're figuring out how to do things in a little more polished way. Although I don't know we'll ever be polished based on who we are. But there we go. Keep listening. Go on to happyafpodcast.com. Find us on Instagram, on TikTok. We're on all the places, and share us and come back and listen in for the next episode. Thanks for listening. I'm Maxine. I'm happy, alcohol-free.
And I'm Isabel, and happy birthday, America. You're going to be 250 this year. Well done. Well done. You don't look a day over 149. And I'm happy as fuck.
See you soon. Mwah.